Hey, this is Pops, and listen, I know it's not X-Men, but it is XO Manowar. It's a guilty pleasure. I'm sorry. I thought I would do a comic. Sometimes you just need a break from the same stuff. And yes, I've been doing Spawn, I've been enjoying Spawn, I've been doing some random things here and there. And then I saw this Valiant book, and it took me way back. XO Manowar, vintage Valiant was such a love of mine. I enjoyed it so much. Um, Arik of Dakia is fantastic. I just thought it was always a fun story. Always enjoyed what Valiant tried to do. If you don't know some of the mythos, this is a great story to kind of jump in where they're going to revisit the ties between the Visigoths and the Romans, his armor, how powerful he is, and all of that. But I'll be perfectly honest. I saw that cover. I saw XO Manowar, and I thought, hmm, let's give it a flyer. And I'm pretty happy I did. Liam Shark's cover is amazing. I haven't even looked at the variant covers. There's a Bob Layton cover. There's a couple variant covers as well because, that's what they do nowadays. The story is something that I can recommend if you're just looking to just kind of have some fun. Um, Exo Man of War is basically like a Thor slash Iron Man plus Vikings, right? It's Thor in the sense of like this power and sort of like godlike presence, but he has like an armor, so it's mechanical with an AI, and yet he has sort of that I'll die in the battle as honor. I'll sacrifice everything. That element of Valhalla that is in Norse mythology that's translated over, and so many people really do enjoy. That is what this is. Very simplistic. Some of the dialogue's pretty clunky. There's some cliche type stuff, and really, it's a setup issue. Right? It really just gives you a lot of foundational stuff to get in. But I think you also can enjoy it if you're familiar with some of the old Exo Manowar. All right, so let's slide on over to some of the art, give you a feel for what's actually happening here. I think that again, I can't say enough about the artwork that is on display here. Uh, I think that was kind of like the big thing for me was that, um, and basically this is a lot of you have sort of a being that's outside the scope of the action. We don't know who that being is at this point in the story, and it's saying, I feel the man, I feel anger, but the armor, I feel its essence, guilt, regret, and dying aspiration. So the armor is something that's separate from him. You can see that he's surrounded. You can see all these different things that are happening. And then in the next page, you get even more details there. And again, just a wonderful color, just a lot of contrast. Look at the toxic masculinity on complete display there, and it's I have become the armor, he says, but for you I've become the weapon. Arik of Dakia, it's no more. And when you bend the knee, what does he become? He becomes, let me get the make sure I hit the right button here, sorry. He becomes Exo Manowar, and I put the cover next to it there so you can have from a reference here. So the character at the bottom is the character that we were talking about. It's the being that's connecting with him. It's like a soothsayer, right? And there's someone talking to her about what's going on. And then you have a transition where there's this comet that's threatening Earth, and he's going to intercept this comet. And in doing so, there's no chance he should survive. And he's like, I will die. I'll do whatever I need to do. This is part of the heroism that he has on display in this sort of like, I don't want to say origin story, but it is. It is, I will do whatever it has to take. He says, quote, the thing that was denied to me for many years, I would find peace. He's interested. Like, if I have to die to find peace, I'll die to find peace. He's totally content with that. And I think that they really kind of did something that's just what we kind of want. We want a lot of fun. We want things that are interesting. And you can see that the panels and the pages, like I also talk about consistency, but I don't mean like every page has to look like itself. Like when we see the villain for the first time, or at least the antagonist there on the bottom left, right? We just says, we only care about the armor. Tell me which, if you value your tongue, will it survive the impact? And it's like, well, they don't think he can even survive, right? And then you have this almost like uh, Bill Sinkovich. artwork on the right. Like it transitions a little bit to be almost like you can't quite exactly know how things are going to play out, which of course we know he's not going to die, right? Now, when he ends up on this ice planet, um, and he's sort of like there, and then suddenly there's this creature that attacks, and you can see how that goes. I just want to give you an idea of some of the action. I don't want to get into like, there's really nothing spoilery about it because, like I said, this is all character development setup, so you can understand the dynamics between this soothsayer, this seer, and this group that's trying to pulling the strings behind her, and you can see some of the interactions that are taking place. Because I didn't want to get into like read the whole story or anything like that because I have to be honest, I'm going to read on. I'm going to continue going with the story for a little while and see. But this is like the current timeline, and then there's like some time jumps, right? Because he's been there healing, and the AI. So on the right, you have him eating a piece of flesh, like a piece of meat. He caught a fish, those kinds of things, and then this creature emerges. This being emerges, this hits him with this net, and you sort of have what can he survive, not survive sort of interaction, and he starts to figure out what he's kind of up against, and what he's up against kind of ties back to his origins, like he's a Roman, right? So these time jumps start to explain, oh, this is going to go back to his very beginnings. There's people who are looking for him, trying to find out more information, trying to learn about the armor, what it's capable of doing or not doing, before you finally get to the end where it's kind of left for a follow up, because they do a good job of like, okay, we're going to do more. We're just going to keep going. And unlike many other books, they do a really good job. There's a whole page of them promoting like other graphic novels and stuff, like tons of other stories. So if you see a cover or something interesting, it wouldn't be that hard to uh, look that up, dive into that, see if that was something you'd be interested in. I have to give Valiant credit for that. I do not see a lot of that from the others. Actually, I'm very critical of the others because I don't feel like they have a merchandising plan. They don't have a cross promotion plan. And when this ends, and it's like, yeah, go tell your emperor the man of war cometh. Oh, okay. I want to read more because the next issue is called Visions of Blood. I'm like, yeah, I'm down. Let's do this. So this is Exo Man of War. As I said, I don't think this is, highbrow, great comic reading. I think this is a legacy book. If you don't want to spend anything that's in modern prices, or you don't have access to an account online, then maybe consider waiting for some back issues or things like this. 'Cause I don't think this is going to like grab a hold of the market and suddenly going to take off in price or anything like that. But I can tell you, it was a fun time and I had a good time. And I don't necessarily dislike any element about it other than a few of the clunky dialogue moments that are in a few panels, but never derails the story or anything like that. So, anyway, that's my take on it. Hopefully, you enjoy our comic book review. Hopefully, I can get more done in there for you. I'm a little dealing with some scheduling conflicts through March, and hopefully, it'll be a little more back to normal in April. So, thanks again for watching. Appreciate you guys. I'm Pops.